The name's Spanner. Dick Spanner. Private investigator. It was midnight. The streets were empty. It had been raining cats and dogs. Now it was just raining. It was the kind of night I just knew nothing was going to happen.
It's the wrong guy.
It was time to hit the sack. The sharp stab of pain made me realize it was a dumb move. So I headed for my office in a crummy block on the east side of the wrong side. I took the elevator up to the 14th floor. My office is on the 15th, but that's another story. Now, where was the key? Damn. It was a stick of celery. Then, I saw the door was already open. This dame was standing by the window, toting a big piece of luggage. She was all woman. She looked like she'd been poured into the dress she had on, and someone had forgot to say when. She had the kind of eyes that followed you around a room. They came out on stalks. I introduced myself. My name's Spanner. Dick Spanner. She wanted me to find her man. I asked her man who? She said his name was Harry. Seems he worked in a circus. Human Cannonball. Then he'd been fired. 2 nights ago, he disappeared. Maybe I felt sorry for her. She was a lonely chick in a big city. I took the case. I was back out on the street. I wondered what the hell she had in this thing. It felt like lead. That reminded me, I was down to my last $2.
What's up, Dick?
It was around that time I walked into this bar. Of all the bars in all the world, I had to walk into this one.
No way, Buster. No way.
I'd been on the case for over an hour and was still looking for my first lead. The piano player was giving out with a 10-finger rag. Difficult when you got 30 fingers. At the back, they were drinking scotch on the rocks. Dude at the end was sporting a 10-gallon hat. Trouble was, he had a 2-pint head.
Shut up.
The barman looked like Bela Lugosi with acne. I called him over to pay the tab.
Coming, sir.
Damn. It was a salami on rye. Well, you can't win them all. Outside, it was still raining. I tried to piece it all together. Harry, the human cannonball, the case, the dame. But nothing made sense.
What do you mean? Get out of here.
He must have been waiting for me. The pizza stains down his shirt spelt mob. He'd brought along 2 of his gorillas. Together, they spelled trouble. His hand was like a pound of wet fish. He said he was going to make me an offer I couldn't refuse. $1,000 to forget the whole thing. I told him I'd consider it. So that was the grand. A grand piano. Needed tuning. It was flat. So was a piano player. He'd played the 10-finger rag all the way down. Some guys never learn. Then I made another dumb move. I decided to open the case. It was ticking like a cheap watch. I figured I had around 10 seconds before the big bang. I knew then it was going to be one of those nights. It was a bang, all right, but the kind I wasn't expecting. There was a note. It said, "You could have been dead, Spanner. That's once." Someone was trying to give me the scares. I decided to go back to the bar. I needed answers fast. I was looking for a snitch by the name of Squealer. The joint was crowded. The usual dumb bimbos. Some dunkhead was just leaving. Looked like he'd been into the bubbly. In a clip joint like this, it had cost him an arm and a leg. A weirdo in a corner was blowing his top. Squealer was sitting alone. The guy had a face like 2 miles of broken road. I joined him. He was a rat and a fink, but I needed to know about Harry the human cannonball and who was trying to rub me out. He said he'd ask around, but it had cost me 10 in advance. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. A banana. Well, you win some, you lose some. The following morning, the sun came up right on time. I was sleeping it off in my office. Another day for the big pair. A dozen boncos were beating out a crazy tune in my head. Then I remembered the bottle of rye I'd had as a nightcap. I knew I was drinking too much. Some guys get ulcers. With me, it's rust. Things were starting to swing, but I had an appointment. Squealer was waiting at the corner of 5th and Main. I asked him what the word was out on the street. He wouldn't tell me. The guy was scared. I didn't like the little creep, but you had to admire the way he bounced right back. But this time the Squealer had gone to pieces. Another dead end. Someone had tipped off the cops. I figured it was time to blow the scene. When I came back to the office, O'Grady was waiting, a lieutenant from the 10th Precinct. He discovered a dead Mexican. The guy under the cover was an undercover man. I needed to do some fast talking. But O'Grady wouldn't listen. He said he was booking me for Murder 1. I told him I didn't know any Juans, but he wouldn't buy it. Then, I got the picture. I was being framed. Then I made another dumb move. I decided to run for it. I'd seen a dumb jerk jump off the top of the Frisco building. He'd scream blue murder all the way down. I wasn't going to yell, but I needed to find a way out and fast. Then I remembered the Zippo miniature parachute I'd bought out some lush in a bar. German limbo dancing by Unter der Bar. Jump on Jehoshaphat. How many times can you be wrong? The street was coming up fast. A fall like this could really loosen my nuts. There was only one thing left to do.
Help! Mamma mia! Macaroni, pizzerama.
The citizen I landed on went by the name of Luigi. He was always a soft touch. Now he was screaming for me to get off his back. The guy was in a mess. I told him to shape up. His arm was all busted to hell. I wasn't feeling so great myself. I needed to lie low for a while. It was a basement apartment on the mean side of the wrong side of the track. I was lying about as low as I could get. Her name was May East. When she moved, it was like watching a sack full of bowling balls. She said she had something for me. Help me loosen up. Make me feel good. Jump on Jehoshaphat. May wanted to give me a lube job. I said I'd take a rain check. I figured it was a bad time to get oiled. But May was a sweet kid. She said I could come down and see her anytime. May's engine was starting to rev. It was time to make tracks. I was back out, pounding the sidewalk.